Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus and the 10-year auction. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director for 10-minute trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. And welcome to our YouTube friends. We are streaming this trade room on YouTube. So thanks everybody for joining in. And let's talk about why we're here. We are here for the 10-year note auction. And the auctions, we could say the same thing every room. We had one tariff trade where it looked like the auctions were going to move monster amounts of movement, a lot of ticks. And then they just returned right back to the slow, mild overall impact that the auctions have been having. I'd say a little bit better than a year ago, but overall, they'll probably never be what they used to be many, many years ago when they were literally ATM machines. That's the truth. Before I got here, legend has it, Bigfoot was trading the bond auctions and the note auctions, and they were making money hand over fist. That's what the legend is, that these auctions were like ATM machines. And there was tremendous movement. There's no denying it. You could see it if you go back and look at really, really old videos, then you can see that there was significant movement. If we look at our DMM for today, the daily trade report, it tells a little bit different story. So the 10-year auction, however, it had that tariff move in April, a great 42 tick mover, and then it has had two very small moves, albeit winners, over the past 2 months. Let's look at the videos, which I do have both of them, and let's see, was it actually possible to get a profit? Or did we have a fill at the top or bottom of a candle because of liquidity, which sometimes happens on these bond auctions? Let's take a look at the video and see what really happened. First, we'll start with May. So when I say let's look at the video, it's a video we record most of our trade rooms, and I keep all the videos so we can study the behavior of these events. That's how we figure out what our setups are going to be. So May 16th, 13:01:30, the orders go on the chart. We have a YM setup and we have a ZB setup. ZB is the main original setup, the OG setup for this event. Now, the YM had a nice early move. And you notice the bond move, we were trading it in our Bullinox account, and it was only able to get a couple of ticks, two little ticks. Not surprising, because if you look at the DMM, it only moved 7 or 8 ticks. You have a 3 tick bracket. Usually there's a couple of ticks of slippage, and that leaves about two little ticks for profit. So not a surprise that it wasn't a big profit, but at least there was a profit. Now, here's what's interesting, everybody. Why was I allowed to trade that in my Bullinox account? Anybody want to answer that for me? it's in our Bullinox account. It traded, and it was an eval account, and it worked. If I try to trade it today in a Bullinox account, try to put a bond position on, wait a minute, was I looking at the YM in my foolishness of brain fart here? Let's double check. I think I was looking at the YM. So forget everything I just said. I was getting ready for a big crazy rant. No, I'm ready to rant. I'm ready to rant. We traded in our bond account, in our Bull and Ox account, bonds. I'm ready to rant. And they say we're not allowed. So let's try to put a bond position on in our prop account. ZB925. I'm putting my order way up high where it won't get filled. Right clicking the chart, and I'm doing a sell limit. And of course, product code not permissioned. So why did it let me trade last month? Somebody want to answer that for me? I don't know. I forgot that you couldn't trade ZB in our Bullinox evals. So I don't know. That's a mystery. We all see it. The video doesn't lie. Science is science. Facts are facts. Okay? But today, if I try to put an order, if I try to sell a bond, I can't do it. Product code not permissioned. So if I want to trade bonds, you have to trade either cash or a prop account that allows bonds. Okay? Now, it's been 3 winners in a row. I'll trade the YM in my prop account, and I'll just sim the bonds today, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe at some point we'll start trading these auctions again in our cash account, but I'm really reserving my cash account for the absolute ultimate best of the best reports. And especially with earnings coming now, we've got some real good earnings that I like doing in the cash account. And the last time I tried to trade one of the bond auctions, it looked like a winner in our cash account, but it filled at the top of the candle because liquidity can be very challenged on these reports if you're trading cash. It's just the nature of these reports. Now, we have 2 setups. The YM, which is an extra setup, and it's very dependent upon how volatile the YM can be before the news. But let's look at that second video before we decide everything. So we saw May, small bond profit was possible. YM moved pretty fast and early, and the YM was a target 1 profit, and then it reversed. So let's look at June and see how the move was for June. Yes, and Nitin says that bonds are allowed with take profit trader, which is nice. There's no reason on God's green earth that bonds should not be allowed to be traded in any account that takes itself seriously. So I don't know. They've never given us a great reason why you can't trade bonds. They say some sort of scam. And you know my feeling about scams. Everything is a scam, except us. 1301.30, our orders were on the chart. This was June. 30 seconds, finally it moved. Bonds filled long. YM filled long. Just barely missed the first target, then hit it. Now, YM tends to be very choppy on these reports. So if you decide to protect your profit by moving your stop to safety, You might give up profit you'd get if you just left your stop alone. So that's a decision that you have to decide. But the YM actually had a decent move. Bonds were just desperately trying to eke out a profit. It was not a great move. And it certainly, 2 ticks. There it goes. Finally, 4 minutes, right? It was 4 minutes after the news. The bond started moving 2 minutes after, all right? It started moving 2 minutes after. So you had to be very patient with bonds. And then they had a pretty solid, nice move there. Usually, usually we wouldn't be waiting quite that long. Quite that long. But you got to keep an open mind. You got to be willing to change the way you do things. You got to be an old dog that learns new tricks in trading if you want to succeed. You can't hold on to everything as it used to be because the markets are constantly changing. They're like an amoeba, you know? They're always different. They're always changing. You might get a couple of months of the same, then it'll change. Just like, why is it challenging to trade the opens and closes? Because they change. All reports change, and that's why you study them. And you're constantly updating your setups to take advantage of the changes that you see. As Bowie said, changes. Embrace the changes, all right, because they're going to come. So our bond setup is pretty simple. Learn and face. What's the lyrics? Learn and face the changes. I'm really bad when it comes to lyrics. I don't even remember my own lyrics. I have to write down everything all the time, even when I was young. It's not an age thing. All right, we've got a breakout trade for the 10-year bond auction. We're going to trigger at 13:01:30. Caitlin Clark is back, baby. Clark is back. Why they're playing at noon? I mean, it's summer. I understand they're playing at noon because it's summer. But they'd get much better ratings if they'd play that game this evening. Turn and face the changes. Is that what it was, Roz? That sounds right to me. Turn and face the change. Turn and face something changes. Turn and face the changes. We're missing something. 13:01:30. We're activating our breakout trade. Our bracket is 3. We'll look it up. Target 1 is 2 ticks. Target 2, we're going to go for 8 ticks in case there's an outside good move. I don't do break even or moving the stop with the bonds. The stop is 3 ticks. Now, bracket of 3, target of 2, target of 8, stop is 3, and then we label it breakout bonds. All right, we're going to set the time to 0 for a brief moment. And I do want to thank you if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Probably you're not subscribed. And if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll know the next time we're going to stream, which is tomorrow. Setting my time to 0 just for a moment. We're going to see what our brackets are shaping up as. All right. So there's our brackets. I'm honestly tempted to trade one contract live cash. I hate FOMO, the fear of missing out. It drives me crazy. Turn and face the strange changes. Is it turn and face the strange changes? Roz, is that what it is? Ch-ch-ch. Ah, okay. I think, well, that was one of his top five songs. Ground control to Major Tom. That's one of my favorite Bowies. Ground control to Major Tom. That was a great song. All right, we're going to put our time back to 1301.30. And what I was going to say, let's say you wanted to trade one contract to reduce risk. What I would do is I would use the if the market moves routine. If the market moves 5 ticks, move my stop to break even X ticks, I'd make that a 3. Market moves 5, move my stop to break even plus 3. And I would just trade one contract with a 10 target. Now I'm tempted to do it. I just would, we took a whole bunch of money out of our cash account. So it's just barely at 13 instead of at 20. I much prefer it at 20. So I need to build it back up. But the bond report has not been a great build it back up kind of report. Build me up, buttercup. I'm gonna every sentence makes me think of a song. That's just the way my life is. Build me up, buttercup. That was a horrible song. I hated songs like that. 1301.30 is our activation time. Bracket of 3. Targets of 2 and 8. Stop is 3. All right. That's our bond breakout. We're ready to go on the bond breakout. Now, YM. The YM sometimes can have a very nice move on this report. The key is you got to pay attention and prevent that fill from happening before the news comes out. So we're going to set up 2 setups on the YM. One, reverse continuation for after the news, or if you get stopped and you're sure you got filled on the wrong side, and you want to go in quickly on the other side. So it's nice to have a YM reverse continuation trade set up. So we're going to right click the chart, click News Trader, move it over to reverse continuation. And our bonds, I'm just going to do one position on bonds for a 20 tick target. And let's go with a 25 tick stop. One position, 20 target, 25 stop. It's just a scalp trade. Should it come to pass. YM, and we'll call it a YM scalp. And we'll trade that in our 17 prop account. Apply it, okay it, turn chart trader onto the right chart. Oh, let's check our bracket on the YM. So let's go back to the sim charts for a moment. Right click, click on strategy. We're going to readjust here. Put the software on sim. You don't want to test your brackets. You don't want to test your brackets on anything but a sim chart. Oh, yeah, wait. I didn't set up the bracket trade, so let's start over. Let's add the breakout trade. Our reverse continue is fine, so we're going to apply it. Let's make sure we labeled it. YM scalp. Okay, let's put it back onto the software. And what account are we going to trade that on? 17 we said. So 17 it is. Apply. Okay. It's on 17. So we've got our reverse continue. All right, that's all set up. Now, our breakout for the YM, we're going to add a second strategy to the chart. Breakout 1301.30 is the trigger time. Why do we trigger 1301.30? Because even though theoretically the bond auction is 1 o'clock, it doesn't affect the market until a minute and a half after. That's the testing has been showing for years and years and years. You don't want to put it on at the wrong time. You don't want to leave yourself open to orders being on the chart any extra amount of time that you can avoid. We've got a 10 bracket. We're going to test and see. I think our bracket's going to be fine. The market doesn't seem all that volatile at the moment. We have a target of 20, 8 and 20. Four and 20 years ago, they come into my life. Little Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I never get the lyrics right, so I'm not going to be embarrassed. I never get lyrics right. 8 and 20 on our targets. Bracket of 10. Our stop is 20 on the YM. 4 and 20 years ago, they come into my life. 1301.30 on our trigger. We're going to make it 0 so we can test our brackets. And we're going to leave our software on sim. We're going to label breakout YM. And who's left? Crosby's gone. He died a couple of years ago. Stills is still kicking. And Graham Nash is still going. And Neil Young is still kicking. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. That was a phenomenal iteration of the band. Is that the right word? Iteration? I think so. Let's check our time, make sure we made it 0 on the breakout. Yep. Is iteration the right word? Someone look it up. What's iteration mean? Okay, there's our brackets for the YM. So you don't want them all scrunched together, folks. That's why we do this bracket test. So now I'm going to put the time back. 1301.30. This always happens. The minute we test our brackets, the market seems kind of quiet. And then the second we're done testing, the market gets volatile and makes our bracket seem worrisome. So all of a sudden, there's more tariff talk. So Trump is speaking in some African lunch with African leaders. Any talk of tariffs has reached the point of absurdity at this point. He doesn't have the power to set tariffs. It's done by Congress. But there is an issue that Congress, where are they? Do they exist anymore? Who knows? 1301.30 is our activation time. Bracket at 10. And I will do a BE minus 5 if target 1 stop mode is hit. I'll move my stop to break even minus 5. We will be back after this. Regular members, we will be back for FOMC statement before our Festival of Traders webinar. And what account are we going to trade this in? It's got to be in 17. Same one as our reverse continuation. Let's make sure our time is back to normal, 1301.30. Account number 17. So we now have 3 setups. We've got a sim trade on the bonds because bonds, look at the YM, all of a sudden it's pushing up. Measles cases at highest level since declared eliminated. Okay? Keep that in mind when you're not getting the measles vaccine. Measles measles can kill. Not common, but they can. I had measles. I had mumps, but I did not have rubella. All right. And they weren't fun. 10-year bond auction, one setup, that's a prop trade. ZB, second setup. I don't expect any movement until 1301.30. So iteration is the wrong word. Roz, the definition is not correct. Now I don't remember how I used it either. So YM pushing to the upside, YM somewhat bullish at the moment, not monstrously bullish. Bonds, right-clicking the chart, clicking on indicators, clicking on net change display, which is a free indicator we use on all of our charts, and I'm putting it on ticks. And net change display will show me how many ticks the bonds have ticked since the 6 p.m. open last night. And it's 23 ticks, which is about 3/4 of a point. It's 32 ticks in a ZB point. ZB is also $31.50 a tick. YM is $5 a tick. Just to give you an idea of differences in risk. The YM is in a little bit of a bullish price action right now. It has moved 59 ticks since 1241. That's not monstrous, but it's a nice move. Look at the 1 minute squeeze. It gave you a great heads up to take that trade. I like the squeeze. When the squeeze is on, it's such a great indicator. Now, you know the deal. Indicators are lagging, so they're not always on, but they are great. They are great. Let me get rid of that spam caller. A spam caller, scam life. I mean, there's no escaping this morass, and that is a correct word. This morass of difficult decisions that one must make to keep oneself safe. CSN and Y, absolutely, Mandingo. I mean, that's the way I know them. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, CSN and Y. CSN, but most people alive today now don't really recognize those. Let's try this word emphasized. Moniker? I don't know if that's a correct word. Moniker. That's not the correct word for a 3-letter abbreviation for something. I think moniker means name. So I guess it could work. I'm going for some dictionary action today, obviously. No ranting. We're going for high intelligence. I want to remind everybody, because we are streaming this on YouTube, to catch our webinar today at 3 p.m. on Festival of Traders. It's a really nice gathering of trading mentors and systems. It's always fun to learn new things. So I try to be on as many of those multi-speaker webinars as possible. All right. So we're now getting ready. So 10 seconds, it's 1 o'clock. All right, we've got another minute till our orders hit the chart. Remember, walking in the sand. Remember, you can use the adjust button. Remember, you can use the adjust button to keep your YM bracket centered if you need to. Don't overuse the adjust button. Only press it if you think you have to. All right, we've got 30 seconds till our orders go on the chart. Let's see if I regret not trading the bonds in our cash account. That FOMO, the fear of missing out, is one of the hardest things to manage in trading. You don't want to make decisions based on FOMO. You want to make decisions based on performance, probabilities. Those are the things that you need to make your decisions with. Now, I pressed the adjust button once there. I may press it again. Right now, we're two ticks away. One, oh, I did something I didn't want to do. I hit that adjust button at the wrong time. So now I need to push down because I pressed it right as the news pushed us short, which cost me. And now I think it's the wrong direction. I think it's the wrong, whoa. I do think it's the wrong direction. But wow, look at the chopping around. It's just chopping around. So I'm not sure. I wish I could cancel this trade, but I can't. I'm in it. I'm going to combine my orders on the YM, combining the orders into one position. Bonds are not giving me any chance to make a profit here. Now the YM, it just feels like we're on the wrong side of this trade. We are. It's not moving enough that it's making me want to go in on the other side. I'm just going to bite the bullet. And if it stops me out, I'm going to let it stop me out because it just doesn't have the power to the upside. I mean, I'm tempted to take that long here and see if it follows through, but I'm not feeling strongly enough that it's going to follow through. Not feeling strongly enough it's going to follow through. The 4.362 versus 4.421. So it was 4.36, a little bit lower. Should push the price up a little bit. Taking one shot, one shot. I think I'm going to regret this. I'm not sure there's enough follow through here to get a profit. But if I can pull some of it, it's moving a little bit. If I can get my stop to safety, right? It's a little bit tight. I'm just going to shrink my stop in half. Not to safety, but about in half. So if I'm wrong, now bonds did not work. I didn't touch bonds at all. All right. Bonds did not work. And nope, everything I'm doing, I'm on the wrong side today. But it had that chopathonish kind of movement. I mean, I'm not out yet, but it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. You know what I didn't look at? I did not look at um, last night's whatchamacallit, New Zealand. because we do have a different setup that we're looking at. We don't have an official setup for the New Zealand rate statement, but we're testing a trap trade on that. Now, I want to survive this YM trade, see if we can catch some movement. It feels and looks a little bit stronger to the upside. Let's see if we can hang in here for a little bit. We do have another trade room at 130. Remember, this was a secondary scalp. The main trade did not work, unfortunately. Look at each candle is a chop in a different direction. It doesn't make it so you have confidence to take a second trade. Now, I don't like trading these bond reports currently with cash. I just don't think they're returning enough profit. I don't mind taking the risk for the after the news trades. I think they have a better probability than the breakouts. The breakouts have really performed poorly. They just haven't performed well. YM's been better, though. I will say that YM has been a lot better. I do want to thank everyone who's watching on YouTube. I did put the link for our Festival of Traders in the chat. We'd love for you to join. We'll send you a recording if you register and can't make it. Now I'm moving my stop to safety. Well, it's so choppy. It's so choppy. I don't have a great target on the YM here, but I want to get ready for the next trade room, so I need a few minutes. I'm going to move my stop to safety, plus a tick or two, so it won't be a loser. And if it goes my direction and if it hits that target, we'll make a few bucks no matter what. But let's go. Keep going. I'll trail my target up a little bit and trail my stop up a little bit as it goes. If it keeps going up, I'll trail my target first. Then I'll move my stop. That'll give us an opportunity to keep our profit higher. It's very slow. Now, I do think the FOMC meeting minutes could be fairly dramatic. So it is trying. There we go. All right, so we got back a nice little chunk of change on that reverse continuation. It's the reason I love those reverse continuation trades. I love them. We use them a lot. Okay, I want to thank everybody on YouTube. Hit the like button on your way out. We're going to shut down the stream. Thanks for joining us. We will be streaming